You can't be a poet unless you're connected to animals in your stomach, in your gut. And the highest intuition is where the goddess, the Devi, leads the way. See? In that beautifully, beautifully tuned string of tension, nothing can go wrong. And in fact, that's where mind is of no use. Completely useless. We try to go about it, We fill in the day with meaningful talks, and whilst deep down we know things work at a completely different level.
I'm at the point, like physically speaking, in my life, apart from the process, like energetic process, I don't know if you can separate that, but on some level maybe you can, right? Where like I feel like my relationship is just naturally dying off in a very peaceful manner, but that's like one ending of something. I feel that I might relocate from the place where I am, because everything is just kind of being postponed, and it just looks like that. And I feel like my business, which I built with my partner, might also kind of end. I mean, like the teacher which I used to go to, she suggested me that it's not gonna work out. Like the intuition or whatever guidance given to her, I don't know if that is really true, but she just said it's not gonna work out and it's gonna bring me down. And I've been facing a lot of losses indeed since I met this person. And that brings me to actually something I wanted to mention yesterday, but I just forgot, which is that before meeting you, when I was looking for the answer to my question, I went to meet some other teacher in Costa Rica, and we had like an opportunity for like one-on-one there. And it was a silent meeting. Maybe just few words were exchanged, sometimes not at all. And it was really powerful. I could not really comprehend exactly what was going on, right? Like I could not name that, but I could feel the energy, and I could feel the results after that for a long time. And then, but one moment I decided to leave, and he told me if he's about to help me, then I have to stay there. But I really strongly felt like I should leave this ashram, and I did. And from the moment when I did, I started having accidents. I've been robbed by some like really mob of people with rifles and like really crazy things, for me at least. And I know Costa Rica quite much, so I know how to move around, not to get into trouble. And then I lost my money, and then I lost again. I had like car accidents. I almost died like 3 times in a row, like in 1 month, in car accidents. And there was like a lot of strange, really unfortunate events for 3 years. And I never put it all together, but recently I've received some informations that it was a curse. And it's also, I think, related to the partner I work with, because we are together and we have a business together, so it's like a very specific relationship. And he's affected by that as well, I think. Because whatever we've managed to achieve, like just recently, 2-3 weeks before this event here, it all just vanished because he acted like just a mad person, like completely out of character. And then I was like, what's going on? Like, this is just not him. Mm-hmm. And then I saw that he's also under the influence of something really, and we should check that. And we did, and it was confirmed. So these are only the information I'm received, right, from different sources, but I feel it's true. Like in my experience, it's true.
How long ago was that?
How long? 3 years.
3 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, this started 3 years ago, but I never kind of like connected the dots that this is like one long effect of some one thing. I thought they were like separate events, but at some point it became ridiculous, it just cannot be this much, like this is just strange. And there are also all kinds of like strange entities coming when he was having a ritual to remove that with some mulana, because he's in Oman and they have like a mulana who is quite qualified with that kind of things. He's proven himself to...
Your partner?
Yeah, mm-hmm. He's in Oman right now, and he undergo a process to remove that. with someone who we know that is qualified because he did help with such things in his family before that, then to me I could feel that at the same time, and I didn't know that he's undergoing this, but then I realized it was at the same time some creatures were like in my space. I don't feel it's there anymore at the moment, but there's like a lot of chaotic things going on, and I really don't know what to do, because you also told me not to, like, kind of, if I understand correctly, to don't really follow the path which I used to follow, which is the Yogi Bhajan style Kundalini yoga, right? And that was my like last kind of anchor, you know, like in all that was happening.
Yeah, the last vestige of hope.
Yeah, like this, like
you.
everything goes to hell, and it actually does. Then this is something that I found that helped me stay clear and strong, and not go crazy, and also remove all kind of influences which I don't find very supportive for myself, and grounded. And I don't know how to proceed further if all of this, including that, is like, I just really don't know.
It's very simply, Martina. It's very simple. My suggestion to you will be completely and utterly non-altruistic. It will be very, very self-serving. Because my suggestion to you simply, are you based in Poland?
So I'm based in Oman. I have a house there, I rent a house there, but I'm just crashing on a couch here. I was supposed to be in Poland for 2 weeks, and it's already 3 months.
You don't live in Poland?
No.
No, you live in Oman?
Yes.
So what are your next moves?
I don't know. That's like, I really don't know. I feel like everything is on hold in every aspect of my life completely. Like I have no direction whatsoever. And now if my like yoga practice is gone, and that was my, like, apart from the business I was doing, because I stopped doing yoga, right? Because I wanted to have the space from like a yogi sadhana, right, style. Then I started a business to have something which I still enjoy and I find beautiful and I can share, which will bring income for me to sustain myself. But that is falling apart, and the yoga, which was my main thing, is also not there, and I really don't know, like, I don't have any direction. After this immersion, I feel like I have just no idea what to do, and I'm like on my parents' couch and I can't stay there for much longer. It's like I'm abusing their kindness at this point.
Here in this country?
In this country. In this country, yeah.
Where are you from?
Yeah, like I have to pay for my stay in many ways with my parents, yeah. They are the kind of Western parents which wants their children to be out as fast as possible and on their own and pay for their mistakes and all that, which is great. But that is just the situation which I have to deal with right now.
So sometimes it feels, when situations like this, when we are faced with situations and setups like this, when everything seems to fall apart, when everything is falling apart, and the sense of our security, right, in the sense of our livelihood. What is important is to understand what is at play, what is unfolding. You see? This understanding is not in terms of applying logic to the situation, because very often logic will backfire. Our best guidance in these cases is heightened intuition, or at least a sense of instinctual knowing, which a lot of us lost. You see? We spoke about the mind earlier. But tantric work actually proceeds from the understanding that where nothing is denied. We embrace within ourselves, all these aspects, in fact, instinctual power, what connects us to this, what otherwise could be considered to be more primitive forms of life, is where we draw tremendous resources. We just don't know that. Maybe some people do. You see? There are poles apart, instinct and intuition. Instinct is more associated with the animal way of being, survival, instinct, driven by instinct, right? Which is very, very, which is downgraded to this survive, procreate, right? Survive, procreate, eat, and don't be eaten. But that's not all. This is a very, very, it's a very reductionistic perspective. Instinct here is actually very, very helpful in a sense whenever we are faced in these situations, because we begin to draw on untapped sources of power, untapped reserves. And intuition is that what allows us to project and pick up all what is available in the field of pure potentialities, which is always out there, always. We only feel squared and cornered when we apply logic to our situation, because we think that, well, factually, right now I don't have anywhere to go. How am I going to pay my rent? Where am I going to do next? You see? This phase will be over. Give or take, you're not going to be on the street. You're not the kind. You see? You will pass through this phase. When you look back, you'd be surprised why was it at the cost of so much stress. So my suggestion to you, to see this, what crumbles there, only in terms of what is right now rising out of that what is crumbling. What is rising? Picture it very clearly in your mind. Very clearly see that. What is it? What kind of life you want to live? What you want to be of service to yourself, to others? Not in a panic, not in a moment of despair, you see? No. It has to come from a place of authentic sense of understanding how things are interconnected. Because we can't dodge this, because then it becomes a deal. Then it becomes some kind of trading something for something. No, this is not a trade. This is not at all, it works at a very different level. Only when things crumble, something really different and qualitatively, dare I say, better can rise. Rearrangements often don't work. Rearrangements always prone to bring that same compromise in. It's when the things crumble down that something extraordinary can rise. Are you up for it? Can you seize the opportunity? That's the question. You see? So, when I said in early exchanges that you need to leave behind these forms of practices because it linked to the way of your internal process. It's simply linked to that where you are in, and this set of disciplines, exercises, they're simply not really applicable to you. A very different approach is required. You were lucky that you met these people in life that not ended up being treated psychiatrically or suppressingly. There's nothing worse than attempts at suppressing activation of life force, nothing worse. It's a disaster. It's really ridden with consequences which are potentially catastrophic. See? So already you skirted that off because you've encountered that person who was God-sent, rare among the breed, rare among the element, of the kind. In the medical profession, to admit that they don't know, and this is one off to speak of. And then you've met a lady, her name, by the way, in Kundalini?
Her name? Haranand. That's her yogi name.
She's from Poland.
From Poland, yes.
Because I know of the teachers, and of course I've met many of them, like those who know some of them now active. And
it's one of the oldest teacher of Kundalini Yoga in Poland.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't know her. Maybe I will recognize her if I'll see, but no. So, again, she knew what she was doing, right? Based on what you were saying. But right now, this set of methodologies outlive themselves, you see? And this is why you find yourself into this work, into this container. And in a way, if you are ready to go through this process of transition, you see, there is a possibility that you can think outside the box entirely. Particularly if this is, as I said, not rearranging the setup that is crumbles. Unless you think it's crumbles and it's not crumbles. Unless it's simply a matter of, do you mean what you say, that things are crumbled? Or they just appear to be crumbling on a full moon eclipse?
Well, they've been crumbling for quite a while.
So, no, this is what I mean.
They've been crumbling for quite a while, but...
No, we're not discussing the details, because I want you to stay present and really be attentive. See? Really be attentive. So, connect this instinctual sense with highest intuition. See? And the answers will begin to present themselves. You will be in for making choices rather than being squared with nowhere to go. This is how it works.
I'm not that worried that I won't find a place to go. It's just like a background situation. For me, the hardest thing is related to that switch of the practice, because I really enjoy that. It's not something that I force myself to do because it's good to do it. It's just like,
no, this is
I
why,
love it.
This is why I said,
yeah.
You learn this work, and if you're going to come back to Poland, if this is on the cards, then you plug in and you build Sangha here in Poland. We'll give you a lot of work to do, don't worry. Okay? You'll be very, very quickly put into practice. And Ganapati will be your man on the ground. He will, connect the dots and everything. Or if you're staying in Amman, maybe you build Sangha there. But this is why I said it's not altruistic, it's self-serving. You see? I'm converting you in a very, very manner of fact. In a very, very kind of direct, kind of, not beating about the bush. This is it. I take compliments that, and this and that with the pinch of, salt, you're not my best teacher, or you're not, But when it comes to this, you wouldn't find a better teacher. No, you wouldn't. I often say sincerely to some of my students, if this was the time when there were choices, I would send some of you to teachers who can do this job. And yes, indeed, maybe a few years ago it was possible, but those teachers are not in activity anymore, they retired. There is exchange behind the scenes going on. You see? So, you know whether you belong to this work. Your heart will tell you, your gut will tell you. And you will build and rebuild yourself, you see? We don't have time for all that kind of enchilada of, no, you sort yourself out and get in touch. But your sadhana will unfold now in a different manner. That I can guarantee you. You don't need to do anything, and you'd be in for a surprise until further guidance. You do not need to do anything. What you've learned, that little what you touched here, is all is required right now. Can you hear me? And
Yes.
when you connect to this, right? This is like unapologetic, complete, right, conversion into a cult, right here and there. You see, I'm not even trying to portray it differently. You put a picture of me in your study, in your room, okay? And anytime you feel any of this hanky-panky thing, you just look at my image. And all these nasty screeches, they will run away, okay? It's not a curse. You don't carry a curse. We deal with those. Particularly in the early days, half retreat would be coming with, not half, it's exaggeration, but certainly a fair amount of people who had come lopsided, like this, like that, This is why we got the pirate thing, because we all like, your auric field is quite clear. There's no curse. Take my word. But what does happen is when you meet people who have been at this work, as in the case of that teacher, you do enter field. You do enter certain field. And some teachers do not and have not been able to fully overcome certain what is required to actually hold this space. There is one fundamental requisite. You see? Fundamental requisite. You do not do this if you know that energetic field will interfere. You never ask anyone to stay with you. You see? I'm not asking you to stay. I'm only asking you to come and do your work here. You see the difference? I don't care where you are. In Amman, in Poland, you carry on your work and you help to build Sangha. Do you understand the difference? I'm appointing you to the job rather than stay with me in my ashram or in my center and this or that. This causes interference in your field. That pool of energy, that's not quite a curse. I hate to think the teacher of that kind would go as low as that. What's the reason? That's poor. That's really...
that's what I thought as well.
Yeah. So why to do that? What? Is it like, Yes, of course, teachers who have ashrams, then, like they always talk about doom and gloom and the Armageddon and the end of the world, so people can come and stay, be safe in the ashram. No, we don't do this, And so when we have our spiritual center, Oddechowo will hold me accountable not to do this. Okay? We were not going to do that. No, we want to have spiritual center where people have fun, not hiding from Armageddon. Instinct and highest intuition. This is relevant to all of us. All of us. We cut off from our instincts because we're afraid, we deny, But the leap from one particular form into another was too dramatic. We said farewell and goodbye to pagan form of worshipping divine in favor of institutionalized religions in a very, very rapid manner, in my understanding. So ancestral connections have been severed, This is why we live in time of this kind of like this edgy fringy revival of all this, you know? Animal spirits, all this, right? This kind of bears and wolves and, you know, lizard king, right? You can't be a poet unless you're connected to animals in your stomach, in your gut. And the highest intuition is where the goddess, the Devi, leads the way. See? In that beautifully, beautifully tuned string of tension, nothing can go wrong. And in fact, that's why mind is of no use. Completely useless. We try to go about it, you know. We fill in the day with meaningful talks, and whilst deep down we know things work at a completely different level. So, that much, so sleep on it, right? Eclipse is still working right now as we speak. So no.
But what do you mean, like build?
No, don't worry about it, see?
That sounds like,
No.
my God.
No, don't worry about it.
Because I would love to serve somehow, and I don't know
No,
how.
don't say this somehow, no. You only would like to serve wholeheartedly, not somehow. No, wholeheartedly. So, some way. How is it по-польsku wholeheartedly? Huh? That sounds better. Brzmi lepiej. So, again, if you think this is recruiting, you totally miss the point. You see? But only when something's totally crumbled, you can give yourself to something new. But if you want to build constantly, people used to come and very busy writing down what I'm saying because they want to utilize it in their professional work. I said, slow down, we will put this video out. You can transcribe it at home at your leisure, you know? Like therapists and, you know, other tantric teachers and psychologists, you know, like, because it's adding, you know, hammering another, whatever that is, you know, certificate. We don't exclude the possibility of certificates. We're considering actually our own pirate-style certificates soon, you know? Yeah, why not? Why not? Certified what? We just need to come up with the good-sounding, meaningful something, you know, what it will be. No. When something crumbles, let it crumble, because more beautiful structures rise from that. That's how it works. This is an extraordinary in every ways. And when you learn that, then you become the creator. You enter your rightful place of self-expression. And you see that every creative process is a dangerous process. It's not a safe process. Never safe process. It's always ridden with this danger. Danger of falling on the face. Danger of not being able to. Danger of making oneself completely and utter fool. Danger of failing. Always. But this is nothing in comparison to what one is in direct communion with in the process. That supersedes anything that may be counted as a result. That's the spirit, you see? Connect to that spirit, to that power. It's alive in you. Don't be afraid of it. You ride the hurricane. You enter the lioness of the heart of who you are. This is what this instinctual power. Fundamentally speaking, there's no human being There's no Marta, you change the name after. No. Fundamentally speaking, these are expressions of the field of Shakti. And it's now enough of playing by the rules. You see, that's what awakening also. Awakening is tearing apart the structure so that the newborn consciousness can come and illumine reality for what it is. It's not playing with Lego. So just reflect on this, let it sink in, let it seep into all the crevices. And then, before questions rise, you will see how the answers to these questions are already there because you understood it at the cellular level. You understood it, what it really means. And other aspects, tweaking here and there, of course, can always be done. But if you press on me now, what do I do when I go home with regard to my practice? I trust you've listened attentively enough, because I already said it twice.
Thank you.
Cudownie.
Dziękuję.
Świetnie. Dziękuję.